Good morning, everyone. Am I audible? Okay. All right. So, let's start. Can everybody see the presentation? Okay. Make sure every one of you writes your attendance in the chat box. Okay. Okay. All right. So today we have to discuss the last step of or the last stage of organizing an EDP, which is monitoring and follow up. Okay. The monitoring and follow up comes after we have organized the EDP, we have finished with the process, and everybody who participated in the EDP, they have to be kept in touch with. Okay. So what all things should be kept in mind while monitoring and follow up? We'll discuss about them. A system of continuous monitoring and follow up is a must for the success of an entrepreneurial development program. It must be built in every stage of EDP. It is a mechanism through which defects and irregularities can be identified and removed. Okay, so here we are focusing or we are targeting towards getting rid of any kind of defects or any kind of issues or problems that may still be present even after addressing most of the problems during the EDPs. Okay, the main motive of the EDP is to solve issues and problems that entrepreneurs are facing. Okay, and to make new entrepreneurs aware about what all they should be ready for, what all activities should be performed by them during the course of their entrepreneurship. Okay. To be effective, the monitoring procedure should not be bureaucratic. So bureaucratic means should not involve unnecessary official procedures and protocols, rules, regulations. Okay, because it leads to wastage of lot of time. Okay, they should get in touch very easily. It should be very simple for them to contact the people who organize the EDP, the experts who they met during the EDP, so that they can discuss whatever issues they are further facing. Okay, so some activities relating to the monitoring and follow-up process are, what are the things that they have to do is, firstly, maintaining a biodata file and various records of each trainee, then keeping the various records on written tests and interviews at various stages of training and post-training. Okay, so they have to maintain a biodata file containing all the information relating to the entrepreneurs, plus whatever tests or activities or interviews that were performed or taken during the process of the EDP. All those things should be kept in a separate file. Preparing a file and record of work performance of each entrepreneur. Then maintaining contacts with every entrepreneur through letters. Okay, so official letters are sent to entrepreneurs and a file of record of how they are performing, how they are working before the EDP and after the EDP. Both the records are maintained. Remitting the required information to the entrepreneur well in time. Remitting means spreading. So this involves the information that should be spread involves various schemes, benefits that may come from time to time. Okay, then visiting the industrial unit or enterprise of every entrepreneur periodically. So the experts should be in touch and should visit at regular intervals or at least few times after the EDP has been successfully completed. Keeping follow-up meetings and follow-up register. Knowing about progress of self-employment job of every entrepreneur. Okay, so progress and self-employment means here we are talking about people who were going to become entrepreneurs, okay, who were not yet entrepreneurs. So they should be kept in touch with and seen that how they benefited from the EDPs and what needs to be changed or addressed in the next EDP. Then knowing about progress of self-employment jobs. Okay, ये knowing about the repayment of loans taken by entrepreneurs. So were they able to pay the loans back, or are they facing some problems with this, or do they require any other financial help? Knowing about the coordination between entrepreneur and support system agencies. So various support system agencies are there, including the most effective one, which is DIC, which is the District Industries Center. We have one in every district. Even in Jabalpur we have a District Industry Center. It is established in near Katanga, near the TV tower. There's a building, official building by the name of Udyog Bhavan. So there all the departments related to the promotion and help of entrepreneurs is set up there. Okay, then asking about the progress report of entrepreneurs ventures and his future of further projects. Okay, so these are the things that need to be kept in mind while doing the follow-up or mentoring procedures. Moving on, these are simple, so we won't discuss much. So moving on, that finishes the process of EDP. Next we come to the institutions that conduct EDPs in India. Okay, so these are some of the institutions in India. Various national and state agencies are engaged in organizing EDPs for first generation entrepreneurs. I hope by now everybody understands what first generation entrepreneurs are. Can somebody tell me in the chat? What do we mean by first generation entrepreneurs? Come on, who's going to tell me? Is everybody sleepy? Okay, Ishika says entrepreneurs who have their own family business. Madhavi says who develop his own venture. Madhavi is correct. Okay. Not in this part. Okay, it is not the very first time. Anybody else wants to try? Who is a first generation entrepreneur? We discussed this, beta. You should remember these things. These are small things. Okay, Astha says fresh leaders or wealth creators. See, the most important, a lot of points that you all have mentioned is right, but the most important thing you have not mentioned, nobody has, which is obviously a first generation. When we are saying first generation entrepreneur, they have to be somebody who has started their own business, because we are talking about an entrepreneur. Okay, but when we say first generation entrepreneur, what it means is that nobody else before them in their family has been involved in any kind of business activities. That is called first generation entrepreneurs. Like my father and my grandfather had never been involved in business, but if I start my own business, I will be known as first generation entrepreneur. But if my parents or my grandparents were involved in some kind of business activities or owned a business, I will not be a first generation entrepreneur. So Madhvi, who established his business by his own, but he has not had past generation support. Yes, now you say the right thing, Madhvi. Huh? So you do understand. Now you should remember that first generation entrepreneur means a person who is the first generation in their past generations who have been involved in business. Okay, nobody else in their family was involved in business. Then only then will they be known as first generation entrepreneurs. No, Ruchi. Working for someone else would never make you an entrepreneur. Okay. Alright, so the agencies are as follows. What are they? First is NISBUT, National Institute for Entrepreneurship and Small Business Development. Okay, so this is a very important institute or agency, we can say. They provide a lot of benefits, a lot of schemes under which people can get involved in entrepreneurship activities. Okay, then second is Entrepreneurship Development Institute of India. This is the organization that we use when we in Mata Gujri, when we organize entrepreneurship awareness camps, entrepreneurship development programs. This is the institute that provides the funding and the support that is required. Okay, so last year, so we did not have anything because obviously of the pandemic and everything. Before that, in 2019, we organized an EAC, which is the Entrepreneurship Awareness Camp, which was funded and supported by Entrepreneurship Development Institute of India. Okay, so they provide a lot of benefits, a lot of schemes under which students and people from the industry can be involved together and get to know about entrepreneurship. Okay, then Small Industries Development Organization (SIDO), then Industrial Investment Care, National Institute of of Small Industry Extension and Training, Hyderabad. Then Small Industry Development Bank of India, SIDBI. SIDBI is a very important organization which provides a lot of benefits in funding and incubation facilities. Then Xavier Institute of Social Science Services, Ranchi. Okay, then what else? Madhya Pradesh Consultancy Organization Limited, Calcutta. Y Self-Employment Center, then Technical Consultancy Organization, TCOs. Okay, so these are some of the institutes that provide benefits or help to entrepreneurs. Okay, then institutional efforts for EDPs in India. After getting independent, India made efforts for industrial development, recognizing the key role of entrepreneurship in economic development. The development of India decided to assist the potential entrepreneurs through several positive programs. These programs were designed to provide various types of assistance and facilities to small scale and other entrepreneurs. These included finance, technical know-how, marketing information, factor inputs, raw material, project guidance, etc. Several institutions have been set up at the all India and state levels to provide these services to the existing and new entrepreneurs. The various efforts are described below. Now, here we are talking about the services or the helps that are provided by all these institutes and a lot of other institutes apart from these as well. Okay, so efforts by development banks, efforts by state level financial institutions, by entrepreneurship development institutions, Gujarat government, Uttar Pradesh government. So these are some of the examples. Okay, every government is now trying to promote entrepreneurship in their specific state. Okay, and also at the central state level, central government level. When we organized the EAC, the Entrepreneurship Awareness Camp, were any of you part of it? Did anybody from your class participate in the awareness camp that we organized? Nobody? Oh, one of the guests was from an institute or a department of government known as the National Entrepreneurship and Skill Development Department of India, and he is the chief advisor there. So we invited him and he taught the students, he showed how easy it is to get involved in entrepreneurship activities, especially for students. He showed the various websites and assistance portals that were available for the students. Okay, so next time, probably next year also, we will be organizing something like this. So in case any of you are in the college, do stay in touch, do keep a track of the entrepreneurship development cell notice board. I post all the activities and everything on there. So you should get involved in these things, especially for students who are from BBA. Vanshika, beta, the notice or the order for resuming the classes has not still been received from the Higher Education Council. Unless and until they say so, we cannot start the regular classes because of the pandemic. The number of cases are not declining, so it is not possible and it is not safe for us to call you all to the college. Okay. All right, so moving on, the last point that we have to cover under this is the critical evaluation or the evaluation of EDPs in India. So what is the present situation of EDPs in India that we have to judge or evaluate? The present growth and success of EDP in backward areas is far from satisfactory. It is observed that efforts made by various institutions have been limited and somewhat haphazard. The program conducted by various agencies vary in duration, selection procedures and course contents, etc. The contribution of EDPs has been very uneven among various areas and states. EDPs are presently operating only in few states. In rural areas, their operations are not satisfactory and up to the mark. Even within the industrial development state, there are many areas which have remained backwards. The reasons for this slow growth have been the environmental factors such as adverse terrain, soil, climate, etc., and lack of entrepreneurial spirit. Okay, so when we say that we want to evaluate EDPs, what all has been observed is written here. Okay, what has been observed is that in spite of so much effort by the government, by the state government as well as the central government to promote entrepreneurship, we have not yet been able to achieve what we wanted to through entrepreneurship. Okay, there has still been a slow growth in the level of entrepreneurship. Okay, only few states or few cities are giving out entrepreneurs or people only from specific states, like especially from some of the metro cities are getting involved in entrepreneurship. But it is not like there is no talent or there is no entrepreneurial capabilities in people from smaller states. They are equally and even sometimes more capable of getting involved in entrepreneurship activities. Okay, but the problem that they are facing is, one of the most important problem is that the areas they come from are a little backward. Okay, especially if we talk about women entrepreneurs, it becomes very difficult for them to be involved or to get involved in entrepreneurial activities. Okay, because for them the amount of support or the support from family is usually not present. Okay, when you say that you wish to become an entrepreneur, a lot of people would get worried that the future of their child may be affected adversely, and so they do not want them to be involved in business activities. Okay, so some of and apart from these, a lot of places have adverse climatic conditions and geographical conditions. Okay. Plus, there are some points that are mentioned here that cause an entrepreneur to be discouraged. Okay, like lack of coordination. So, lack of coordination among the various departments, the various services that are being offered by the government. Okay, it is very difficult now in today's time as well to get a service or a work done through the government offices. Okay, it takes huge amount of time and effort for you to get something done through the government approval. Okay, may it be getting an electricity connection, getting a water connection, getting your electricity connection checked, you just name it. Okay, so lack of coordination. Then inappropriate support system. The support systems that have been set up are not working effectively enough in order to get or show the right amount of support that is required by the entrepreneurs of our country. Okay, most of the people who are employed in these departments, in these support system organizations, do not have any experience of business or entrepreneurship, or have never been associated with any kind of entrepreneurs. Okay, so they do not know the background, they do not know the technicalities of being an entrepreneur, and hence they are not able to support them appropriately. Okay, then costly affair. Obviously business is a costly affair, it is a risky affair. Okay, not every business activity, not every person involved in business gets a profit right away. Okay, there are opportunities, there are points when you face a lot of loss. Okay, then next is not catered to our needs. Not catered to our needs means it's not necessary that the entrepreneur keeps or is connected to the needs of the society. Okay, it is not always 100% sure that they will provide what the customer needs. It is as we say, it is, as the next point says, innovative functions. Okay, so innovation leads to risk. Okay, and it is not 100% sure that they will provide what the customer wants. Sometimes there are disappointments, but it takes a lot of time. Then lack of innovative functions. Innovation is discouraged in our country. A lot of times you will see that people in general also, not just talking about business, if you try to do something new, something different, you will not be supported in the first go, unless and until other people see that yes, it is causing a little benefit to the surrounding or to whatever things you are impacting through your activity. Unless then, you will never be supported by anybody. Okay, so lack of innovative functions is a very important aspect or reason for lack of entrepreneurship in our country. Then poor financial management. Obviously, initially when people are getting involved in business, it is very easy to get or to mismanage finances. Okay, to get involved in activities which are not properly managed from the financial point of view, and there are not enough services offered in the country to support them, to help them. Okay, then improper selection of projects. So improper selection of project means sometimes entrepreneurs are not able to select or select the right product or project. Project means the product, the service, the type of organization they want to establish. Okay, so they are not able to select it properly. Then non-availability of inputs. Inputs means resources, and we all know that resources are limited. Okay, so in our country, some kind of resources are very scarcely available, and they are very expensive as well. Okay. Then next is shortage of technical manpower. Technical manpower means manpower who is technically trained to operate or work on machines, okay, or computers or something like that. Okay, so people are not technically advanced, they are not technically educated, hence they cannot be employed. And somebody who is starting their own organization, a new entrepreneurship, they will obviously want to employ people who are trained. Nobody wants to take more chances, okay? Because if I am starting my business and I employ people who are unskilled, I will firstly have to invest in giving them training. Only after that can I think about getting some benefits from them, okay? And what happens a lot of time is that these people, once they get the training, they leave the job and work and try to work somewhere better. They try to move to urban areas or bigger cities and get employment there, okay? Because there they are paid more. Unsatisfactory infrastructure facilities. So infrastructure means facilities like roads, transport, water facility, electricity connections, all these kinds of things come under infrastructure. Okay. Then delays in project implementation. So the project may start, but because of technical errors, because of no cooperation or coordination among the government departments, a lot of delay is caused. Sometimes to get approval to launch a product itself, you have to wait for more than 6 months, a year, sometimes more than a year. Okay, so that causes a lot of delays. Now, for example, I start my enterprise, I employ people, I start the production, okay, and simultaneously I apply for the approval of the project, or approval, or maybe say license to sell the product, whatever it may be. Okay, different types of products require different types of permissions. So my project has started, I have started production, and it is time for me after 6 months to sell the product, but still my license has not been issued. Now what will I do if I am not able to sell my product at the right time when the market is in need for my product? What will happen then? I will obviously have to keep on paying the rent for the building or land, whatever I have hired. I will obviously have to pay the salaries of employees that I have hired. Okay, that won't stop, that won't be delayed. Okay, so these problems cause a lot of companies to close down even before they can start production or start selling their product. Then multiplicity of government agencies. This is a very big issue in our country. They have established similar organizations and similar departments, so many departments, and you have to get approval from all these departments. For example, if you want to get a license, you have to go to one department to get the challan, go to another department to submit the money, then go to the third department to submit that challan copy that you have submitted the money, then to the fourth department to get the license form, then fill the form and submit it to the fifth department, then from the fifth department you will be sent to the sixth department, and it goes on. Okay, so this creates a lot of chaos and discomfort for the entrepreneurs. A lot of people are discouraged from being entrepreneurs because of these reasons. And last point is dependency upon middlemen. Now middlemen, when I'm not able to get through this bureaucratic chaos, what people do is, you'll find whenever you go to a government department or a government hospital, anywhere that you want work to be done, you will find people roaming around asking you to offer their help. Okay, they will say that for some money they will get your work done. So what they do is, they have contracts, or they have under the table contracts with people working in these departments, and in return for some money they do your job or get your work done quickly. Okay, what this does is, for people who have extra money with them, it is very difficult, it is very easy for them to get their work done. But somebody who is running on a very tight budget may not be at the disposal of such resources. Okay, so middlemen cause a lot of problems in the life of an entrepreneur. All right, so these are the points that help you to evaluate, or this is the critical evaluation of an EDP organization in India. Okay, why are EDPs not giving us the desired kind of result that we want from it? Okay, so that will be all for today. I want you all to go through these slides, go through the presentation. Please keep on writing the description about all the points that we cover in each of the slides, okay, in your own words in a notebook that I have told you to maintain from the very first day of the class. Okay, it will be very beneficial for you at the end of the year. Okay, thank you girls. Does anybody have any doubts?